So here's my latest project. It's a John Deere 450A. I've got some hoses that are messed up, but it will crank and run. So I've got this hose blocked off just temporarily. What happened is that one blew up when we were trying to move it, and it just, the weight of this shoved it out, so we got to take a bath in hydraulic fluid. But it's a fixer-upper for sure. But weighs about 18,000 pounds. It's like 17,600 pounds, I believe. But what I'm thinking is, if you've got 18,000 pounds right here, basically, and I've got a backhoe attachment that goes on the back, so then there's more weight back there. And you can see where it goes on here. It's got this little hookup deal right here. When I first got this thing, I had to fix a bunch of stuff. But one of the things was it was leaking in here. So you can't really see it well, but right where the light is, you see that bump of weld. So this line had rubbed a hole in that line, and I took all this stuff apart, took that out, and welded a repair in right there. Kind of hard to tell, and it was really hard to get to and really hard to weld, but that was one of the things I had to do. And the starter, I'm having to run a remote switch just to get it to start and stuff like that. The lines are just rotten as they can be, so it's amazing they hold any pressure at all. But I've got to redo a bunch of this. So these two lines were what was coming down for the four-way bucket for these cylinders right here. So I'm going to have to fix that at some point. You can see these are pretty rotten themselves. But if I can get that fixed, that'll be really handy. So I've got to come to here at some point to get all this working correctly. But my intention is to just start slowly replacing lines. It was also bleeding coolant really bad when I first got it. So right, I can't find the thingy. Let's see if I can find this thing. Okay, right here. So these two lines, this one here and this one here, we're going to that heater box over there where the can's sitting. So that was one thing that it was just spewing fluid because the lines were rotten. So we cut those, fixed that, and like I said, this is just my temporary. What was happening was, even though this wasn't being used, the return was trying to flow through this, so it had just enough pressure where it was pumping fluid all over the place. But what I'm hoping is, if I can get this thing running, then when I get a machine at home, I should be able to pick up some, pretty decent weight with this thing. Probably pick up a 5,000 pound lathe without any issue. Maybe even 10,000 pounds. So I might be able to use this to unload trailers and things like that. I've got to make a roof for it, fix a few things. This door's been all up. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot in it. I know the tracks are worn out, but I don't think I'm going to really use it like most people would use it. I'm basically going to use it like a big forklift. I got it for like $2,000. The motor runs like a top. Motor starts right up, fires up good, runs really well. It's diesel. I think it's like a 70 horsepower diesel. From what I understand, these are good machines. It's just been neglected for a really, really long time. But yeah, that's my next, one of my projects. I have too many projects. But yeah, that's what's coming next. So anybody has any suggestions? Oh, the one thing that's really got me messed up. You can see I've got the seat and all that out of here. The pedals, that's how you steer left and right. But the clutch is frozen on this thing. I can't really get in there. And if anybody has any suggestions, see if I... So you can see down there, you see that nut? I made a nut with my lathe right there to where I could get a big wrench on that and see if I could try to get some leverage and turn it. But there's a pedal that you're supposed to be able to push that in and out with that rotates. I can see my hand. That right there. There's a pedal that's supposed to rotate that. That is completely frozen solid. So I've got to figure out something to do with that. But really, that's the biggest problem with it right now. You can move it, but if you get any pressure on it, you can't move it anymore. Well, you can move it, but you can't get it out of gear. So if you say get some dirt and start heading towards a house, you're going to mow the house down, basically, because you can't get it out of gear. So if anybody knows how to unstuck that clutch, that would be fantastic. But right now, that's my biggest problem. It will not move. But anyway, yeah, there's the latest thing that I'm going to be working on. So what I was really wanting to do is get this working before I unloaded that machine. I could have used it to kind of pick up and stuff like that, but I'm a ways off from that, and probably a couple $1,000 in just hydraulic lines to get that going. I would not want to put any pressure on these if I could stand it. But anyway, so there it is. You guys have a good day.